mwenye ni chuma anataka we mchumba.
Nyumba yenyewe kuna
Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga. Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga. Nishona ngoma nayo hadi sitamani kukucheki cheza ngoma. Kwani ni noma? Hilo gudu linanichoma hadi natamani. Sisa usitake minilie, nimevumilia hadi nikaamua kukwambia
I love you, je t'aime na kupenda.
usiogope kitu wala usiwe na hofu. Yule ni mchovu mbovu.
Atadu akwende. Basi tam nikutaje.
Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga. Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga. Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga. Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga.
I don't know waka mi butape, mi petite mabulape, atiete lwa kuduse, akwenchi analoba aleba. I don't know waka mi butape, mi petite mabulape, atiete lwa kuduse, akwenchi analoba aleba. Alebe, tu sais que
Longomba zitakuwa kwani twakutongoza longomba spajo umejazia nafiga kilongomba ya balongomba njoo unatuchoma ukidondose na vyosonga hebu songesha longomba zikiza poa kwani twakutongoza longomba spajo umejazia nafiga kilongomba ya balongomba njoo unatuchoma ukidondose na vyosonga hebu songesha Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga. Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga. Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga. Nikiteki kidondo dondo saro yangu inauma uma. Hiyo kake kisonga songa. Bona unaturoga roga.
Usiyatamani ya mwenzio, kazi ni kazi, kazi ni kazi Usijilinganishe na mwenzio, tunza hiyo yako, tunza ulicho nacho Obongo nyakalagano laga gigita, jadolo nonena kakuecho, jango madonge tinda chiemo, topanjoloro chalo pikuja, fimbo ya mbali haiuwi nyoka, shika ulicho nacho, jikakamue, fimbo ya mbali haiuwi nyoka, shika ulicho nacho, jikakamue.
Manyo pesa mano kela Nairobi, wando mauso Kikao kigoi Manyo pesa mano kela Nairobi, wando mauso Kikao kigoi
Siogopi kupiga hustle, nazidi toa jasho. Wake up then I grind on a daily. If you owe me money then pay me. hela sabuni ya roho. Bila hela utabebwa ndogo. Saka hela sabuni ya
Manyo pesa manokela Nairobi, manyo pesa manokela Nairobi. Wandu mauso Kikao Kigoi, Kikao Kigoi. Manyo pesa manokela Nairobi, manyo pesa manokela Nairobi. Wandu mauso Kikao Kigoi.
Kila wiki najikaza, mashabiki hewa kuwapa. Baada ya dhiki kweli ni faraja, ipo siku ndavuka daraja, yeah. Usinione sina cheo, jube ya jana si ya leo. Binadamu maendeleo, ya wajoki sumu mambo leo. Oriti anadhi, mziki korotera. Oriti anadhi, mziki amatera. Oriti anadhi, mziki korotera. Oriti anadhi, mziki amatera.
Manyo pesa manokela Nairobi, manyo pesa manokela Nairobi. Wandu mauso Kikao Kigoi, Kikao Kigoi. Manyo pesa manokela Nairobi, manyo pesa manokela Nairobi. Wandu mauso Kikao Kigoi, Kikao Kigoi. Manyo pesa manokela Nairobi, manyo pesa manokela Nairobi. Wandu mauso Kikao Kigoi, Kikao Kigoi. Manyo pesa manokela Nairobi, manyo pesa manokela Nairobi. Wandu mauso Kikao Kigoi, Kikao Kigoi.
Okelo wonyo mindi atugondu machogo siepena. Yakanya kwara kelongolo sanye sechena. Tumodoko kitomino kinyoma endalo. Kinyoka opacha wotalanda tinda luoro piny. Okelo wonyo mindi atugondu machogo siepena. Yakanya kwara kelongolo sanye sechena. Tumodoko kitomino kinyoma endalo. Kinyoka opacha wotalanda tinda luoro piny.
Maokelo majon Wonyo mende Kiambuto Nairobi.
Ajoni wukudonga wuke dala. Achomo city kabwana. Dego tinga fuye poche polo. Achomo city kabwana. Moroni akale diemoa. Achomo city kabwana. Nakuru akale diemoa. Achomo city kabwana. Naivasa akale diemoa. Achomo city kabwana. Pinje jora puna kale diemoa. Achomo city kabwana. Limuru akale diemoa. Achomo city kabwana.
I bet you they get wakaginyi di mabeyo beyo. Gindo mona kitoki sungu. Nice to meet you, sir. Gipenyani, what can we offer you? Hey! Gora kata kata kito gujaraja. Kono gini miyaura pangaruda. Gidongere mani lungoni oro.
Mlolongo kale diemoa. Achomo city kabwana. Dakika pirangwena luare boma. Adonjo city kabwana. Pirangwena luare boma mama. Adonjo city kabwana.
Imosana mwasimu wa Felix Jalaska and Chigwe. Manangata kanya. Sanitize.
seme chul mon mabeyo mano wuod seka kamser jakindu ai achaka fuane Costa Ojwang jalupo mano wuod aeli jal mamingwana sana kula ngoma aja musiki tamu.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Radio Kikao. My name is Teddy Maingi, and you're listening to Kikao cha Afya. Today, we are having a very interesting conversation. We are going to be looking at. So, for the entire week, just for context, for the entire week, we've been having conversations regarding mental health and mental wellness in Kenya. And yesterday, we had a very interesting conversation where we were talking about families, and we were talking not just anything about families, but we were having conversation about how your upbringing in your family plays a huge part in your own mental well-being. And so today we are having a rather different conversation, and we are going to be looking at love and relationships and its connection to femicide. It's no secret that femicide has been a pandemic in Kenya. I think beginning of the year, from January 1st up to the 30th of March, according to the National Police documents and the report that was published, that 129 cases were reported of femicide. That means that 129 women sadly lost their lives in the hands of men, many of whom were familiar to them. Many of the men are men that these women knew. And so I feel like we really should have this conversation, and there is no one better to have this conversation with than with Miss Grace Mokua. Grace, how are you? All right. Sorry. All right, Grace. Hi. Can you get me?
Yes, I can. How about you?
I'm very fine. Thank you for creating the time.
You're welcome.
All right. So, Grace, let's begin today's conversation, and I'd like to get your input first. As a lady, when you hear cases of 129 murders in just 3 months, which means that there are more than 40 women who are killed every month, how does it make you feel?
Honestly, I feel bad. Yeah.
And why do you think that we are having so many cases? What could be triggering, from your own perspective, what could be triggering these high numbers of murders?
Okay, we have various factors. Number one, we have psychological factors such as jealousy in relationships and possessiveness. Then we also have an history of abuse and trauma among people. In such a way, if someone grew up in a violent home, like that's all they know.
Right. Yeah.
Or if someone has grown in a society where beating of women is highly encouraged, I think that can bring up the thing with femicide. We also have the need for power and control among people. And it can also be caused by mental health conditions such as psychosis.
Yeah.
Maybe one's thinking is not as normal at that time. Something like depression, like killing a person, is not that of a big deal to them. So a number of factors come in.
Yeah. All right, Grace, I want us to go back to 2019. If I recall it correctly, it was 2019 when there was a very shocking story that sent shockwaves across the country. We saw a young lady by the name of Ivy Wangeshi who was attacked while she was in school. She was studying at, I think, Moi University. She was studying medicine. She was in a 6th year, which means that she only had 1 year left before she graduated. And Ivy Wangeshi was attacked by a man. This man was later identified as Naftali Kinothia. And Naftali Kinothia is rumored to have been Ivy Wangeshi's estranged partner. From what some people are saying is that Ivy Wangeshi and Naftali were involved romantically before, but later on Ivy had to travel all the way from her home, which is very many kilometers away from where she was studying, and she left Naftali Kinothia back, and the communication, it seems, that was broken. And then later on, Naftali, from what he was saying in court, he said that when he used to call Ivy, they'd have conversations, but most of the time before they could talk, Ivy would ask him for money, and he'd send her money, and then after sending her money, she would block his number. And in this case, Kinothia claims that he was used and later he was rejected. From your perspective as a as a therapist, or as a as an expert in matters psychology, is this a sign of deep psychological instability in cases such as Naftali's, or are we failing to raise emotionally mature men in Kenya, men who can process, who can be able to read between the lines, and tell that this lady is not interested in me and move on with their lives?
Okay, I can say it can be both. First of all, it can come as a result of psychological issues, like just the frustration. Why is she blocking me? Doesn't she want me? Also, something of the sort. And the issue of emotional intelligence, regulating one emotion, that could also be one factor. Maybe the person was too angry, maybe the person was too disappointed and they didn't know another way of controlling it. So both factors come in.
Right. And in many cases of femicide in Kenya, where men are involved, most of these men are rejected, or they're quote unquote, they feel played after spending money on women they've been involved with. Is this anger that most of these men feel really about love, or is it about power? Is it about control, or is it even about entitlement, as you had mentioned it earlier?
It can be all of those factors, starting from love. I mean, love is a very deep emotion. There is attachment, where one feels attached to their partner. So just living, it's just like comparing. Imagine someone who wants a pet and you take the pet away. That can be really frustrating due to the attachment that has been formed. It can also be as a result of the power and control. Like, you're entitled to me, you are my property. I'm investing in, it's like a business. Investing in a business, and all of a sudden someone picks it up. It brings some form of range, which is not controlled, it can bring up to other issues. The other thing was there's power, entitlement, love. It can come in all those perspectives.
All right. So allow me to ask you, in your own perspective and from the experience that you've had, can we say that obsession is a form of mental illness? And at what point does love turn into psychological danger, especially as a lady? If you were maybe talking to another lady, how are they able to also be able to notice that this person's obsession with me is putting me in danger if I ever get to leave them?
That's a good question. I would say obsession can actually be a mental problem, a mental issue, especially when it is extreme. When it is extreme, where one forgets themselves and their mind is so focused to the other person.
And do you think that sorry, go on.
They are not able to see red flags in the other partner, because if a person is violent, most likely you are able to see the signs in between. For example, in the case that you shared earlier, maybe this person had shown some signs. Maybe in between when they argued, maybe the guy was turning violent. So when one is obsessed, they are actually able to forget themselves, and their mind is always on this other partner, this other party all the time.
Right.
They will actually do anything for them. Yeah.
Wow. I think from many cases of femicide that we've seen in Kenya, it seems that obsession is the common theme, right? I mean, you have stories of men who've been stalking women. I don't know whether you've heard the case of a presidential aspirant by the name of Abdul Badida, who was arrested and sentenced in the US because he stalked one of his wives and even threatened to kill her. So when you see such cases of obsession, from your own experience as a therapist, what do you think triggers this obsessive behavior? Because it seems that this is the common theme, that someone is so invested in another person to the extent where you do not want to see them with someone else. You want to hear from them all the time. You want to keep up with them. You want to see who's following them on social media, which posts they're liking, who's replying to their posts, and so on. What really causes this obsessive behavior, or what really are the triggers?
I can say a number of factors. First of all, it can start from childhood traumas.
Right.
Maybe one has grown without a parental love, so when they come and see this guy who loves them, this lady who loves them, they actually stand at a high risk of being obsessed to this person. What's the other thing? I would say mostly is that childhood experience. Also the issue of attachment.
Yeah.
There's different types of attachment. That's secure attachment, insecure attachment. And if someone has a kind of insecure attachment, they are likely to be clinging and obsessed to this other person. A lot of insecurities come in.
Yeah.
And if sometimes I normally say, I wish you could have a school of parenting, because all these things are created, are built up from childhood.
Right.
Where one sometimes can have this sense of possessiveness. This is mine. I really have to protect her. I have to stay around her. Something of the sort. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'd like to ask this question. This is the perfect time to bring it up. As a lady, I'm pretty sure you've come across so many memes online about madem kukula fare. Venye si usema madem amekula fare, dem alitumia fare to go and maybe visit the boyfriend or visit another guy, and then anakula hiyo pesa, right? Do you think that maybe this sort of trend, quote unquote kukula fare, plays a role in maybe triggering men to the extent of murdering women, or is it just an excuse? Do men use this whole idea of kukula fare as an excuse to harm and even kill these women?
Okay, I think I will answer that from a wider perspective. We are living in a world of give and take.
Yeah.
Even in friendships, we kind of need to have a mutual benefit, both of us. So you can imagine sending someone money to actually come to your place and they don't come. There's that disappointment, accumulated disappointment.
Yeah.
What is the impact of that? It can bring like big range. Like when I meet this person, they they will get it, get something like that. Then from the lady side, uh-huh. Okay, it can also be a notion, since maybe you have created that perspective as ladies that we'll always hit the money. We exchange love for money, which is so unfortunate, and we can't really blame a person. It's the way people have been nurtured, it's the way society brings this up, that a man needs to be the provider, that a man needs to give money, something of the sort. Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to such things such as provision and being submissive, and all these other traditional roles, they're planted from home, right? We get to adapt them from our parents or from or our guardians, relatives and so on. Do you think that maybe being exposed to violence at home has desensitized a lot of men to the extent that we sort of believe that hitting women is okay, that it is acceptable, especially in instances where you've seen maybe your own father doing it to your mother, or doing it to the house help back at home, or doing it to his sisters or any other women in his life? Do you think that these seeds are planted at home, and then once they are nurtured now by society, and then now we get to see the fruits amongst ourselves?
Yes, it happens a lot. I can say it starts from the family. It may not be exactly from a person natural home, but just from the community. You see a woman being beaten, and unfortunately in some cultures it has been normalized. It's like it's okay to beat a woman. So when they grow up, that's their sense of dominance, that's how they show their masculinity. So it's so unfortunate that beating of women, gender-based violence hasn't stopped, and it starts from the home.
Right. What about let's take a scenario where you have maybe someone who's been, he's been quite the gentleman, whether with the wife or whether he's with his partner, right? But then all of a sudden he starts to show signs of being aggressive, and aggressive in the wrong way. Aggressive maybe by the way he talks, aggressive by the way he carries himself, aggressive with the way he sought to solve problems in the house or even amongst his friends or family. Are these red flags that when women start noticing these red flags, that they should actually maybe start to find an exit strategy, because maybe they could be the next victim? Or should they just stick around as many do, especially during back in the day when women really used to stick around? So should they stick around and maybe help these men find the help that they deserve? Or how would you maybe go about it when you're advising someone who asks you such a question?
I can say wisdom comes in such a case. Seeing a man suddenly turns to an aggressive person is actually a red flag. So one needs to weigh the options, and in most cases, especially depending on how you have lived together, depending on your relationship, your bond, you can help this man seek psychological help from a therapist. But actually in cases where you feel you're at a higher risk to become the victim, it's actually good to seek an extra support from somewhere else yourself. Extra support in terms of maybe you seeking for a therapist yourself to know how best you can support this man, or something of the sort.
Right. Now, talking about getting help, as you've mentioned it, are there maybe organizations out there that maybe when someone notices such behavior in their friends or in their partners and so on, that they can reach out to, or maybe if there's a lady who's going through the same thing, they could actually reach out to them for assistance. Because most of the times, most of these cases are actually avoidable if people could seek help early. But perhaps maybe do not know, many don't know where to get the help, right?
Oh, okay. On my side, I'm aware of several counseling centers where one or community-based organizations which can help support such people. Though unfortunately I found that counseling services are quite expensive, but I know centers like Amani Counseling Centers offers good counseling, and yeah, it offers good counseling to people.
Yeah.
And we have Chiromo Hospital, which supports people with mental health challenges. We have an organization called Love in the Name of Christ, which supports the community,
Right.
the vulnerable people in the community, where volunteers come in and support such people.
Okay.
So far, I'm aware of that. We also have Madare Hospital, so it's known for mostly mad people. People drive it that way, but it also has a good team of psychologists and therapists who can support people. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as we conclude, Grace, maybe there are some of our listeners who'd like to perhaps get to know where they can find you. What services maybe do you offer? How can they reach out to you? And and any other relevant information that you think that might be of help to them, maybe you can share them as well.
Okay. I can say I'm still in the process of establishing myself as a psychologist, but people can find me on my number, and we can plan for a session. So far, I'm
what's your
offering
number?
is 0711
Right.
34 34 17 04.
All right. Maybe social media.
Social media, maybe WhatsApp. I'm still trying to navigate through opening my own page on Facebook and maybe Instagram. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Grace, for your time. Perhaps maybe you can spend the next 1 or 2 minutes to give us your closing remarks in regards to mental health and mental wellness.
Okay. So just in summary, I can say that femicide is a complex issue, and it is contributed in by many factors, starting from those psychological factors, the societal norms, and many other factors. But I would like to encourage people, there's help available. In case you see a victim who has experienced or seen a person who has gone through femicide, it's good to encourage them to get help. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Grace. Thank you for all the insights. I do hope that today's conversation is going to be helpful in not only just helping people but also saving lives. And I'd really like to urge the listeners that when you start noticing that it is never too late to seek out and ask for help. right? None of us has everything figured out, especially when it comes to mental health. There's no pro, right? Every day we are presented with new challenges. We just have to find a way to solve these challenges. So thank you very much for your time. I look forward to having more and more conversations with you, not only in regards to love and relationships and mental health, but also as you mentioned, with addictions and so on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.